Bob Pockris, Fox Sports. Earlier today you were 8 points below the cut line. Now you're in the Champ 4. What's the difference?
Yeah, I mean, like I said just a second ago, I really haven't came into these playoffs with any different approach. Coming into the race today, I wasn't even really thinking about us being 8 points back. Heck, I didn't even know what I was after Vegas until like middle of the week on being the 8 points back, because I just wasn't paying attention to it. And coming into this race weekend, I kind of just put my head down, did the same old stuff that I always do, and just focused really hard. And we unloaded with a decent car. I didn't know if we had a winning car. We struggled in practice a little bit. I didn't think we were the greatest. I thought we were maybe a top 10 car. And then qualifying didn't go very well. And then whatever we did from qualifying to when the race started, or how the rubber was getting laid down from practice and for the cup cars, and then the race in the trucks today, it just really, our car liked it a lot. And as soon as the green flag dropped, I knew we were going to have a car that was capable of at least contending for a win. I didn't know if we were going to win the race, but I knew that we were going to have a shot at it. And yeah, I mean, it was one of those races where a long run mattered, and we were really good on the long run. You know, if it would have been one of those races where you have a late race caution, you have a 10-lap shootout, I don't know if we'd be sitting here talking to you guys. But, you know, having that long run, that just really played into our favor.
Do we have any other questions for Austin? Let's go back to Bob.
I mean, with these playoffs and the uncertainty, was there any part of you was like, I'm going to end up having 3 wins as much as potentially anybody else and not make the final?
Say that again.
Like, were you kind of had you resigned yourself? I don't want to say resigned yourself to the fact, but had you come to like the realization, like I could have potentially as many wins as anybody else and still not make the final?
Yeah. You know, that happened to us obviously last year, where we had 4 wins on the season and we missed it by like 2 points or whatever. So. When AJ won last week, it was awesome to see an Alliance car win the race and not somebody else or not some other manufacturer. Chevy was in victory lane, but at the same token, he was just good enough, you know, all year long to be in that top 8. And when he won the race, I'm like, well, there's one guy that was below the cutoff line that got in, and I knew that kind of made our job a little harder. So we came, you know. Today we were like, look, all we got to do is go win the race. Easier said than done, though. So we were able to get it done, though. We just, you know, the car drove just like I wanted it to. The way that I approached the race and the lines that I was running and all, I had this like in my mind. I had to go rip the fence to make time, and I found out really early in the run I didn't have to make lap time, and I just stuck to that all day. Was kind of married to like a certain line, and it just paid off.
Let's go to Lee.
Lee Spencer, Series 6 of NASCAR Radio and CatchFence.com. I'm curious where you're running, because you really seem to make up time on the bottom. Was that more, did that put more wear on the tires down there as opposed to running the top where you can just kind of glide off?
I don't necessarily think so. I have this like theory, I don't know if it's right or wrong, that if you're running the bottom, you're using the right front tire more, and if you're running the top, you're using the right rear tire more. I was loose all day, so I needed to use the right front tire more, because if I ran the top, I felt like I was going to be looser as the run went, and my long run speed wasn't going to be as good. So with me being on the free side already, I'm like, well, I'm going to drive in the corner and just kind of like load the right front tire. Not really slide it, but just kind of like load it and drive into the right front tire. And doing that was just saving the life of the right rear, and it wasn't really hurting the right front, just because I guess I was loose enough that it wasn't hurting the right front. So don't know if that's right or not, but that's my theory on it, and it worked out.